Oh, hey, how's it going? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sober Swole podcast. My name is Jake Howard. And before we get started, as always, I'd like to give a shout out to Royalty Nutrition. That's royaltynutrition.com. It is a veteran owned and operated supplement company that doesn't automatically use the cheapest ingredients possible while making their supplements to help you along your path to your fitness goals. Check them out and use the discount code 37HAKE to save you 15% on your entire order. I actually am going to get a resup here soon. Got all three flavors of Slay on the way. I'm very excited. My next shout out of the evening will be to Gorilla Gains. That's gorilla-gainswithaz.com. They are a fitness apparel company that you can wear comfortably in and out of the gym. They also make great equipment that helps keep you safe while you train. Check them out. Use the discount code JAKE15. Saves you 15% on that order as well. Pardon me 1 second. Got some social medias to handle. Man, what a day. What a day. I'll get into it here just a little bit. Gotta tell these folks on the almighty Instagram that we are live. Talking about the Iron Sheik. No guests this evening, just me. Sorry for everybody that was expecting something elaborate, but DJ Swirl has some very important dad things to handle. So bare bones, just old Jakey Poo talking about life. So today was funky. Not just because, obviously the main title of the show, the Iron Sheik, died, but man, like today was just funky. I went outside to handle some duck stuff, and the ducks scratched the shit out of me. Look at that. It tore me up. I was bleeding pretty good out of that one. And then I stabbed the back of my head on the duck run. And then Ruthie was begging for coffee. So I was making a pot of coffee out of the French press. I'm not going to give my 3-year-old a cup of coffee. Just stick with me. So as I'm putting the French press down, all of a sudden it explodes all over, and I burnt my burnt my stomach and my arm here. I don't know if you can really see. Yeah, down over here, made a huge mess all over the kitchen. So I'm pissed. That's 3 annoying injuries in a row. Like not detrimental, but like obnoxious injuries. So I sit down and oh, no way. I had like 3 people hit me up and be like, hey man, the Iron Sheik's dead, because they know how much of a big wrestling fan I am. And yeah, I didn't want to believe it. I mean, obviously the man, it was 81 years old, and it was one of those things that's like, it was gonna happen. But it's like one of those things that you don't, I guess it's one of those things that like you should expect, but you don't expect it. And no, I don't care what he died of or whatever. That's not what this is about. I want to get into what the Iron Sheik meant to me. What the Iron Sheik meant to me was not only was he not only was he a true immigrant's American story tale, but he was a story of just straight up perseverance. Um, for those of you who don't know, he was from a really small village in Iran. He got great at the national sport, which is freestyle wrestling, and ended up working himself up to where he was working at the palace for the Shah, who was the king. For those of you who don't know that, Iran has a pretty wild history. But yeah, and then his hero that he wanted to be like was politically executed, but not acknowledged as a political execution kind of thing. So he's like, I gotta get out of here. So he moved to the United States, got in with the American Olympic wrestling team, became a assistant coach in the American Olympic team. Got in contact with Vern Gagne, who was learning how to wrestle. Who was a referee, and like he drove the ring truck and set up the ring and broke down the ring and stuff before he really started getting into wrestling. And then when he first started wrestling, he was like this white meat baby face, like all American wrestler kind of guy. But he was from Iran. And then he figured out that he could really start being a draw if he was a shady bad man from Tehran, Iran. And he was one of the best bad guys ever in the sport. And he worked and worked and worked, and he got himself to the point where he was put in a match with Bob Backlund, who, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He's another extreme individual, but he won the World Heavyweight Championship from Bob Backlund and was, to my knowledge, the first Iranian to be a World Heavyweight Champion in wrestling, which is in professional wrestling, which is pretty cool. And then, as we all know, the Iron Sheik is the reason why Hulkamania exists. He lost his belt to that Hollywood blonde jabroni Hulk Hogan, and thus started Hulkamania, which is the biggest thing to ever happen in professional wrestling. So that's the Iron Sheik's fault. Now, what does this have to do with fitness and sobriety? And why is this bad guy one of my heroes? Well, his fall from the top and his fall from grace led to a lot of drug and alcohol abuse. And then when the murder of his oldest daughter happened, it got worse, as I believe it would for any father. And it was bad. It got really, really bad. And then his nephews came and pretty much verbally slapped that out of him and made him realize who he was and what he meant to people. And I'm sure he still really drank the cold beer Bubba's from time to time, but they got him off the crack he was using. And he went on to become this huge internet sensation. His Twitter account was the best account I followed for years. because it didn't matter what it was or who it was about or what motivational saying it went, and it usually always ended with "Go fuck yourself." And he found a way to bring a smile to people's faces even after he physically couldn't do wrestling anymore. So he had I guess, a career resurgence and a redemption that not a lot of people get. So here you have this poor kid from Iran who scraped and crawled to make something out of himself in his home country, who left because he was afraid of political persecution and getting killed himself. And then he moved to a whole different country that wasn't exactly friendly to Middle Eastern people from the beginning. Let's just call that what it is. And he became a world champion. Yeah, in a scripted sport or whatever, but still, he was trusted enough to be the guy that was the face of a whole company and then be the catalyst for really wrestling as we know it today, if we're going to be real. So there's that. And then he had a big downfall, tragedy. Then he still made something out of himself after all of it. That should give hope to really any addict. Just because you're screwing up now doesn't mean that all hope is gone. You can come back out of it. You can make something out of yourself, and you can inspire millions to chase their dreams or whatever. Like, I'm not saying you will. I'm saying you can. The possibility exists. Like we've been doing this show for 4 years, and we're not huge by any means yet. But if we help somebody all along the way, that's the whole reason why we're doing this. And I don't know, man. I always kind of wanted to be a figure like the Iron Sheik. I mean, obviously not Iranian. I'm not a pro wrestler. I wasn't even that good of a wrestler. But somewhere, some way in my sobriety, if I can help somebody else get over that hump, I'd absolutely love to. Yeah. So rest in peace, Sheikie baby, man. Wild. One day when I grow up, I'll be like the Iron Sheik. So anyway, like I touched on earlier, obviously this is a bare bones, not well produced episode. DJ Swirl is on solo parent duty while Mama has a break this evening, and that's just fine. We all need those from time to time, right? Parenting is a whole crazy aspect of life that I didn't even expect. I didn't even expect to live to 35. Oh, by the way, my birthday was June 4th. So I'm 35 now. I made it. I'm like 10 to 12 years over where I thought I'd be, still living and kicking. But it's so cool, man. I didn't get to go, but I had to handle stuff with the oldest. But seeing pictures and videos of my 3-year-old at her first dance class, just loving it, and watching my 2-year-old's personality develop she's gonna be a riot, man. She's gonna be the kid that pulls pranks. It's just funny. And my son is how he communicates is la la. So we do that back and forth to each other for a while all day. That's pretty rad. There's a lot of stuff going on that I still can't talk about, but I have the utmost faith that that will work out to the benefit of our household and our family. And once all that crap's done, I will drop all the dimes, all of them. Just put it all out there. 'Cause it's been pretty nutsy over here. It is what it is. You know, I've been taking some time and really diving slow into um, really getting back in the groove of lifting and shedding some weight. I'm hovering around 220, 225, depending on what's going on throughout the week. And if I can get to 190, not only will I go get my balls clipped because of my BMI will be at the acceptable range, but I'll be lean enough by then. I'll do a show. I'll go do a show. Why not? Why not? I'm 35. I can do the first set of masters now. And why not, man? I miss bodybuilding. I don't think that I will have the time throughout the day to do a prep how I'd like to do it. But I think I'll see it as an interesting challenge because I won't have all day to spend at the gym anymore. I have to find a way to get the work done while uh, while juggling my duties at home and with the kids, and with work and the show. But I think that'd be good. I think that'd be great. Be an interesting lesson in patience. Speaking of bodybuilding, I read something today that is very important for people to realize. Is bodybuilding is definitely a first world sport because not only do you have the means to uh, purchase all the food and supplements necessarily to get you to where you are on stage and your tan, and for your ladies, your suits and your makeup and your hair. Not only do you have the means to buy all this stuff, but you are choosing to make yourself incredibly uncomfortable for an extended period of time. For really, unless you're doing a national show, one day, one day, one night. And you're doing that for 10, 12, 14, 16 weeks, making yourself incredibly uncomfortable just for a day. Get up there and here I am. So, I can't remember who said this post, but it's you have to remind yourself that you chose that discomfort. It wasn't a discomfort forced upon you by life. It was you chose it. And I think that'll help change your attitude about competing too. But yeah, I want to choose that again once stuff kind of settles down. But we shall see. We shall see. Where was I going? Where was I going? Leave me alone. What else? What else can I update everybody on? The chickens are all still doing pretty good at the old chicken farm. Dogs are good. Ducks are good. Obviously, kids are all great. I'm so lucky, man. I have kids that are all so healthy and smart and kind, caring, and beautiful. Like it's wild. It's wild. I mean, they're assholes sometimes. Don't get me wrong, because look at who their parents are. But yeah, man, for the most part, other than like some typical, and maybe yeah, for other some typical kid stuff, man. We got such good kids. We got such good kids here at the house. It's wild. Who would have thunk it? So, yeah, man, that's all I got tonight. Yeah, if you were expecting a whole hour of just me talking, I've got it. I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you so much for listening to the Sober Soul podcast this evening. My name is Jake Howard, and for DJ Swirl. Oh, no. God, I forgot. Listen, buy to buy. Buy to buy is where you, how does he put it? Oh, man. He's got such a good flow now. Buy to buy is a company here in the Valley in Arizona, where if you need something moved or put together into your new home or your new apartment or wherever, you hit them up. Things are moved safely, cleanly, and placed where you want them and or put together. It is ran by my man Ryan Harvey, and he is the best at this. How do I know that? Because I have used him, I've used his services, and I've also done jobs with him. He is meticulous, he is clean, he is efficient. Probably the best movers I've ever seen the inside of and the outside of, hands down, especially out here in Arizona. So, buytobuy.com. Bow. If you're looking to do what we normally do, not this bare bones stripped down stuff that I got going on here. Oh, pardon me. Go to Buy to Buy Studios. If you're looking to make content of your own, you can do it from the comfort of your own home with DJ Swirl doing all his stuff from the comfort of his home. And it's been really cool to watch all of this grow and things come about on it just because of how his mind works. He's truly, the dude's rad. And I am lucky to call him my friend and very lucky to have him produce this show. Anyway, I'm done. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the Sober Soul podcast. My name is Jake Howard. Good night, everybody.